So, we're back with some commentary from Big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna on the 23rd of November. And joining me tonight is Michi.
And with me is Walter.
And we've brought you some nice Magic here. To the left, we got Kevin Jin on Death and Taxes.
And to the right, we got Markus Leicht.
Yeah, and Markus is on 4-color humans here. If you're familiar with the new 5-color human stack that uses new Ixalan cards like Unclaimed Territory and Kite State Freebooter, this list Markus is playing here to the right is basically a hybrid of the 5-color human stack and older banned company lists. What do you think of this, Michi, of this concoction?
Well, I think it can be pretty explosive.
Yeah, one of the differences of the 4-color human stack is that it plays Collected Company. So unlike the 5-color human stack, which plays Ancient Ziggurat, a land that can only cast creature spells, can only tap for creature spells, that's not present here. So basically it's a 5-color list, minus the red, which is mostly used for Mantis Rider and Cyber cards in the 5-color version, and he plays 4 copies of Collected Company. So how about that Death and Taxes list?
Well, Kevin plays Mono White Death and Taxes with like the usual stuff: Frame Inspector, Restoration Angel, Blade Splicer, Flicker Wisp, Path to Exile, and with some one-offs like Weathered Wayfarer and Sarah Avenger and 2 Mirren Crusader, followed by, of course, Evawalis, Talias, Arbitus, and another one of the Revoker. And
we got our players drawing the starting hands here. Let's have a look if we can see a copy of Sentry Necromancer here on the right-hand side of Markus's hand, which is, for those who are not familiar, it's a 3-mana 2/2 human, and whenever it or another human you control dies, you get a 2/2 zombie. Let's see if our players are going to keep their hands, and we see they both do.
Kevin starts with a Plains, followed by Unclaimed Territory from Markus.
And we got an Ever Since Pilgrim here on turn 1, which is pretty good. This is what this deck wants to be doing. Plays 8 mana dogs.
Leonine Arbiter by Kevin.
Let's see if he can follow it up with the Ghost Quarter. Even though the human stack has 8 mana dogs, it's still, due to its 4-color nature, it is susceptible to color screw and hate.
So if I start from the human stack
here, 2 Champion of the Parish is joining the battlefield, 1 with counter, 1 without, but no second land. So this, if a Ghost Quarter appears here from Kevin, this can severely screw Markus in his mana development.
So he attacks with the Leonine Arbiter, plays another land, Tectonic Edge, and a Blade Splicer. Good to block here.
Yeah, the 3/3 first striking golem is pretty good right now, but even if just a Noble Hierarch entered the battlefield here on Markus' side, Champion would already be able to attack as a 4/4 right past the golem. So let's see what happens here, but it seems like there is no third land yet. But we see a Thalia's Lieutenant, which conveniently puts 2 counters on each champion, which means that at least one of them can get a swing in.
And we see it right here. The 4/4 is attacking. So Kevin just let it through, going down to 16.
And he untaps, draws a card. Let's see what else he's working with here. Thankfully he plays those ugly white bordered basic planes so we can see those. But he's just a pass here. That smells like Restoration Angel, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so too.
This is like a guaranteed Restoration Angel. What are you doing here? What's your plan? Lieutenant. What's your plan for Markus here? How do you best play around that threat of Restoration Angel, the looming 4 mana?
Well, quite difficult to say because
when if he double blocks with 2 golems, it's 6 first striking power.
Yes, and he can easily still go down to I think 9 life or 8 life. While killing one of his opponent's biggest threats.
Yeah, so I agree. I totally agree with you, Michi, here and with the pass. I would not have attacked here because you would throw away your bigger champion to get in 8 points of damage, which is not a good exchange at this point, in my opinion.
I'm on your side with this.
Hey, we see an Iconic Masters Horizon Canopy getting cracked straight away. Interestingly, I mean, using the Tectonic Edge, because it's 3 lands on Marcus's side away from actually having an effect on the game here with its land destruction ability.
Ghost Quarter would be much better here.
Definitely, because the Arbiter is still here. So it also turns off any fetch lands as real outs, because he would have to use this a whole turn just to crack a fetch land. But we see another, yet a third, no, this is the, yeah, it's a third copy of Thardis Lieutenant, still pumping all the champions by 2, pumping all the other humans by 1. And now we have 2 champions that are actually big enough to attack past the Golems here.
You're right, and I think Kevin is in big trouble here. Because the board on the humans' side just grows and grows bigger.
That's what these decks are very adept at. If you don't have remover in these matchups where removal is light, both of these decks only feature 4 copies of Path to Exile as their only removal spells. You get into situations where the human deck just outgrows anything, and if you don't interact or present a fast win, we just get into situations like this. I mean, what do you think is Kevin supposed to do here?
It's a tough question.
Looking like he's reaching for triple block.
I think, yeah, but I'm not quite sure if
he will lose 2 of his creatures,
yes,
yeah?
But on the other hand, he's attacking with a lot of power there, putting him really, really low.
And there's only the 1 Restoration Angel, so going for a race here while using the air advantage is not really a plan yet, at least.
No. And
yeah, we see Marcus is going to trade his champion for both First Striking Golems. The Arbiter is the Arbiter dying? The Arbiter is also dying because we had an HH here, so enough power to kill all 3 creatures, and there's 7 damage coming through as well, and a pass of the turn.
I'm not quite sure how Kevin can get out of this with his deck.
Like, top decking a couple copies of Path to Exile in a row, maybe? With having other spells to cast too, but I agree, it's looking really rough here.
Another Horizon Canopy.
Which draws him another copy of, is this a promo version of Restoration Angel, I think, which he can't even cast this turn. And we also see a Leonin Arbiter in his hand, which also is not helping much in this situation.
Looks like Kevin is going into jump blocker mode, which won't win him the game.
Yeah, he's quite in a predicament here. He tapped 2 mana, but he's not sure what he's going to use it for, because he's probably come to the same realization as us here, that most of the things he can do are not very good for him. We see the Arbiter joining the battlefield, followed by a copy of Weathered Wayfarer, which can tutor blends if you control less lands than your opponent, which is often used to kill more lands. But here we see Marcus being happily stuck on 2 mana and still dominating the board.
Another Noble Hierarch from Marcus. 3 of his creatures get a +1/+1 counter. 4 of his creatures get a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, this exponential advantage the human deck can create, where like every creature you play just grows so many more creatures, and also some of the creatures grow double at points. Just makes him able to just go full out and attack, swing with the board here.
Yes, attacking with a 4/4, 8/8, 4/4, and a 6/6.
While Kevin is already down to 6 life. Like he's probably gonna, he might eat a creature and survive this, but it will probably reduce his whole board here. Because reaching for double blocks is hard when you're at 6 and your opponent is 4 attackers and you've got 4 blockers.
Yes, it's a lethal attack.
Like, he's reaching for double block on the 4/4 Lieutenant here, and then he has to jump 2 of the other creatures. I would recommend Kevin jump at 6 power Thardis Lieutenant at the back here, which he is going to do, which he probably, unless he wants to die, then he's not going to do it. Which means he would go to 2 here and keep a Blades Blaster.
No, he doesn't keep anything, or?
Yeah, he keeps the Blades Blaster.
He keeps the Blades Blaster.
He has a 3/4 Restoration Angel, 1/1 Blades Blaster, but that's not going to do much. The whole board is still here.
No.
That second Thardis Lieutenant, the 4/4 Thardis Lieutenant, should actually be dead here.
He drew into another Restoration Angel and scoops it up.
Yeah, so that was game 1. So in terms of sideboarding, we can actually provide you with the sideboards of the players here today. So on Marcus's side, let's start with that. He has access to 1 copy of Reclamation Sage, 2 copies of Aethelsworn Canonist, 2 copies of Campbell Concert of Education, 2 Sync Collectors, 2 Shaper Sanctuaries, 2 Stony Silences, 2 Meddling Mages, and 2 Resting Pieces. What do you like here?
Well, I think meddling mages against the buff to Exile would be really nice. Yeah, and on the other hand, I think Reclamation Sage maybe.
Yeah,
Can
Reclamation
do a
Sage
trick or
can kill
another.
Vials.
Yes.
The good thing about the Meddling Mage here is what Marcus's list features, similar to the 5-color humans lists. He has 4 copies of Kitesail Freebooter, and it makes Meddling Mage so much better.
Yes, because you can just simply see what your opponent wants to play, and you take one card and then just disable the other one.
Yeah, and you just got your Duress on a stick, which is generally not that good in this matchup, because there is not that many non-creature spells in either deck. But having access to see your hand is valuable in terms of strategy and in terms of the Meddling Mage names.
This is true. So let's go to Kevin's sideboard. He plays 2 Burnt Forged Ender, 1 Craftigger's Cage, 4 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Sunlands, 2 Dusk Dawn, 1 Mirror Crusader, and 3 Stony Silence. So what do you like about this sideboard?
So yeah, the Dusk Dawn. Like, if we saw that game here, I would kill for a Dusk Dawn if I were Kevin, because this would be one of the few cards that could actually get him out of that situation. Other than that, Sunlands is a tricky one, because while the 4-color human stack is base white, he plays 4 Eversense Pilgrims, 4 Noble Hierarchs, 4 Kitesail Freebooters, and the Scented Necromancer main, which are targets, and those mana dogs, as we saw here. The Eversense Pilgrim living was crucial for the development of the game. Marcus never even drew his second land, and he still crushed Kevin handily. So those Sunlances might be worth it just for the mana dog issue.
Yes, I'm on this, because slowing down your opponent is crucial in a case of a race.
What do you think of other sideboard options here? 3rd copy of Mirror Crusader? Interesting? Not interesting?
No, not so really. I think it's too slow in this matchup.
Okay, sure. So we see our players drawing their opening 7 for game 2, with Marcus on the right on 4-color humans being up a game. And let's see what we've got here. We see a Kitesail Freebooter in Marcus's hand, and they both keep.
Starts with a Ghost Quarter into a while. Marcus plays a land, Noble Hierarch, and
So
Manador.
both players pretty much have their like optimal starts here, which is obviously pretty good for them. Vial ticked up. Kevin's looking at his hand. What do you think? Leading with Ghost Quarter, does it mean that probably means that he doesn't have colored sources, but we see a plains here?
Yes, we do
Due
see
to
a
the
plains
whiteboard?
here.
So maybe he was just trying to trick his opponent, thinking that he might not have access to colored mana?
Mm-hmm. So what is he thinking to play?
So he's playing a Thraben Inspector, which means that he has access to another 1-drop, because otherwise he would use the Vial. And it also probably means we can deduce he does not have access to a 2-drop that is convenient to play here. Yeah, we don't have a proper clue token, but this Amon card is representing a clue token. And we have Thalia, Heretic Cathar, entering the battlefield here, which will prompt a response probably, because creatures would enter the battlefield tapped otherwise. Not a response. Okay, he lets a resolve and then gets a tap.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's not the technically correct play, but not a disadvantage from him.
Wild doesn't tick up. Wild stays on 1, okay.
This is probably an error here, because I don't think there are any situations where you want to leave your Vial at 1. The question with these decks is normally 2 or 3. 3 gives you access to Flicker Wisp.
Did you see Kevin's reaction right now? I think he may have noticed he forgot to tick up the Vial.
Yeah, he probably realized that. And now, this is especially annoying because his non-basic lands will enter the battlefield tap thanks to Thalia Heretic Cathar.
Yes.
And so he probably goes back to the backup plan of cracking a clue, which is not that exciting, but at least he's got something to do with this mana here.
Yes. So Marcus is going, a Kitesail Freebooter to look at his opponent's hand.
So we'll all be able to see what Kevin is working with here, and yeah, this is really annoying. It's got 2 3-drops, which means that by not ticking up his Vial here, he loses the opportunity to get both of those 3-drops on the board. Now with the coast clear, Thalia's getting in for 4 thanks to Noble Hierarch, and then we see a fetch in the second main phase. Probably... he's just fetching for a tapped Hallowed Fountain to play around any potential Leonine Arbiter top deck shenanigans. And we see a crack of the clue.
Maybe we'll see a Meddling Mage. Next turn from Marcus.
This is also possible. This would be very good for him because thanks to the Weil not being on 3, he cannot play both of those 3 drops. So Marcus is able to name the more threatening one of those at his leisure and just...
Yeah, but I think one will come down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has to be Blade Splicer
Yes.
here because Flicker Wisp is not he can't cast Flicker Wisp without any Ghost Quarter shenanigans, which he probably does not want to do here. Like Ghost Quartering is Ghost Quarter for the planes.
Wouldn't seem that good.
No, because those Ghost Quarters have, once a Leonin Arbiter enters the equation, those Leonin Arbiters are able to completely wreck Marcus's 4-color mana base here.
Yes, completely. Ah, okay, we see a Talia here. Okay, his opponent reminds him of the Thalia Karatic Qatar
Which
trigger.
still means that every creature enters the battlefield tapped. It's pretty annoying to play against with those decks.
Why do you think he didn't play Blade Spicer?
Because of Collected Company, I would assume. So the thing is, if his opponent does not have a 5th land drop and he has Coco in hand, which is one of the best cards in the 4-color human stack, Marcus would not be able to play it for this one turn. So that might be the reason. But Marcus has access to the 4th land and he will Collected Company... No, he will just activate the Gavony Township, which is a one-off in his list, which is one of those advantages of the 4-color version over the 5-color version. Due to not playing Ancient Cigarette, you can play Gavony Township, which is able to just take over games completely.
Like we see right now. Big swing from Marcus. Kevin decides how he will block.
And there are no
And
blocks, it's
no
just going
blocks,
to untap.
Just going to untap, goes down to 10 life.
And the
draws
Weil
a
is
card.
finally up to 3, where he would have liked to have it before. And I
Yes.
think he drew a copy of Restoration Angel here, which is pretty good with the Blade Splicer. So he could deploy both of those cards this turn, thanks to the Weil. Still has only access to 1 planes, but it doesn't really matter, because now he can cast a Flicker Wisp on 3. He could also cast Mirroring Crusaders, and most of his other cards do not have double white costs.
Rexion Revoker on Noble Hierarch.
I'm pretty sure that... no, Phyrexian Revoker does not have the mana ability clause that Pithing Needle does, so this actually works here. But he's just cutting him off 1 mana. He would rather like to have a Pithing Needle effect here, naming the Gavony Township. That's more threatening.
Is he cutting him off the mana because of the Gavony Township and or the Collected Company?
Both here. Cutting, I mean, he does not have any other targets for the Revoker. The question is, I think it's relevant to cut him off for both. But the thing is, if Marcus drew 1 more land, he had access to both of those things again.
Yes.
So this might be a futile effort, but it might be one he has to fight. I probably would have liked just going for Blade Splicer and Restoration Angel here instead to use your mana more efficiently. Yes, use your mana efficiently. Okay, now we see what's up.
Okay. Tectonic Edge destroying the Gavony Township, but no attacks from Kevin's side. Do you think this was the right decision?
The thing is, he is on 10 life already, so I think it is the right decision. He has to get the board under control here, gum it up a bit before he can start going on the offense. I think it would have been a bit risky due to his low life total to attack here, because even though the Gavony Township is dead, there is still quite a few cards in Marcus's hand, and he might be able to deploy something threatening on his turn, even though it's not a Collected Company right now.
Yeah, but he can't really block the Talia Heraphicadar and the Freebooter because of the flying. Nothing will happen, and now you see.
Yeah, now we see the Blade Splicer come in, probably, or we see the Flicker Wisp. It's one of these 2 options. Flicker Wisp could temporarily take out an attacker, but we see the Blade Splicer, because the Golem can just trade with the Thalia here in this situation. Yep. But he can't, because they come in tapped.
They come into play tapped, yes. So maybe Flicker Wisp would have been better here.
I think I would rather want to Flicker Wisp the Blade Splicer, because flickering your opponent's creatures, it's temporarily fogging them and not taking damage, but doesn't advance your board and your game plan.
But as you see now here, he could have easily attacked with one Frame Inspector and with his Thalia last turn, because he's just easily jumping the Thalia Karatic Harar, the big Thalia.
Yeah, definitely, you're right here. Yeah, Reflector Mage on the Golem token is always an exchange that I say that as a Blade Splicer player myself. That feels quite annoying if you play the Golem, quite good for a non-Golem player. Just a clean 2-for-1 here.
Yes, that's true. Now we can see Kevin drawing his 2nd white source, while stays at 3.
Yeah, and so we have perfect information now. Kevin has a copy of Flicker Wisp and a copy of Restoration Angel. I'm pretty sure about the Restoration Angel in hand here. And it seems like he's going to use his mana to cast Flicker Wisp. Okay. Let's see what the target is going to be. What would you like? I would just target a Blade Splicer here.
Me too.
Because getting another 3/3 golem, and targeting any of your opponent's stuff is not doing much here, and Clue is not.
His opponent is pointing down at the Reflector Mage. So what will he play?
Yeah, I think even though it's a nice tempt by Marcus here, the Reflector Mage will not be the target. Target will be the Blade Splicer.
Yes.
Which just means more creatures are entering the battlefield, but they're all tapped now. Thanks to the Thalia, which seems quite good in this matchup so far.
Yes.
Seems hassle to play around for Kevin.
Dominating the matchup currently, I would say.
Yeah, and also the body, the 3/2 fast track body is quite good in those creature matchups.
Yes. And it's now a 4/3 first strike,
exactly.
Which is even better. So we see an attack, well, basically an all-out attack.
I smell Collected Company here strongly.
Ah, he had a second.
That was not a Restoration Angel, it was a second Flicker Wisp. That makes it has a similar effect, but it makes the play of using the mana this turn a lot more. And now we see him actually flickering the Thalia here.
Yes. And maybe jump blocking the mage.
So he's at 8. If he did not jump block, he would take 4 at least. But a Collected Company, for example, hitting 2 Thalia's Lieutenants would mean he's just dead.
Yes.
So he's double blocking the mage. But those double blocks are also annoying because you always have to consider different Collected Company outcomes. You have to figure out what happens when he hits 1. But there is not a Collected Company being cast here by Marcus. We just go to damage. Kevin goes down to 6. Just trades a Revoker for the Refractor Mage. Pretty good exchange on his side. He's far ahead on the board right now.
And we see another Reflector Mage targeting the token, the 3/3 first strike one.
Yeah, so 2 of those golem tokens have been taken down by Reflector Mages. But I'm still quite confident with Kevin's positioning here right now. He's still got access to 1 clue. He's got access to some Ghost Quarters. But we'll see. It's pretty much a top deck battle at this point, I guess.
Do you think he should attack right now with his Flicker Wisps?
I would 100% attack with both Flicker Wisps here.
To put his opponent under pressure.
Exactly. You have a 4-turn clock here if no other flyers join in. You can jump on the ground a bit. The Flicker Wisps, he's just attacking with 1, which tells me that he would like to trade off that Kiteset Freebooter, but I think blocking Kiteset Freebooter is a bit risky here, simply because getting a +1/+1 counter on there, either due to a hardcast Thalia's Lieutenant or Collected Company hitting 1, means there would just be a jump block, and taking those 3 damage I think you can deal with 1 turn while you jump or try to trade off the ground creatures, but let's see.
The clue is being cracked, Kevin draws another card and passes the turn. Marcus draws. Let's see what he will do in his turn.
Yeah, basically he's just racing through his deck. He needs to find a copy of Collected Company. He needs to close out this game because the board advantage is here, but he has got the life total advantage. So now we see this attack with the flyer, and now Kevin is kind of forced to block because otherwise why wouldn't you attack? You block it and you jump because of the exalted trigger. It's just a jump.
Yes.
This is a copy of Meddling Mage, right? This is a copy of Meddling Mage?
I think so. I'm not quite sure.
This is some fancy promo version?
Yes, it might be the case. Can't think of another card.
Okay, let's see. I think it's Meddling Mage. We'll see what happens. It's Meddling Mage because I think we got a write down of what is being named here. So we'll see this. Kevin is writing. Yeah, it actually is a copy of Meddling Mage. And he named Resto! Ooh. Thanks, they're being nice to his coverage, guys. So, Restoration Angel, it's totally fair because no copy of Restoration Angel has been played yet. And it is, on average, the most high impact card in Kevin's deck in general.
Big troubles for Kevin. Or what would you say?
It depends if he has the Restoration Angel. If he doesn't have it, it's not doing much. If he actually has the Restoration Angel in hand now, yes, this is rough then.
But if he has 2 cards, maybe he has Flicker Wisp and Restoration Angel, so he can counter the Meddling Mage.
That would be nice, just flickering out the mage for 1 turn. He could also flicker it out in the end step, but he's just going to create another clue because he wants to use his mana efficiently. So instead, this is tricky. He does not create the 3/3 golem. Instead, he creates the clue so you can crack it end of turn. Let's see. I'm not sure if that is the play I would have made in this situation. But we see the copy of Dusk Dawn. So this is a very, very nice backup plan. But right now, let's go back to game 1. We had those huge creatures, and right now, not a single Flyer's Lieutenant to be seen. So Dusk Dawn not so good right now. But it might be pretty powerful later. It's a good backup plan if your main plan of killing him with Flicker Wisps falls flat.
Yes. Not only is Marcus missing Talia's Lieutenant, he's also missing Champion of the Parish.
Exactly,
So,
because those were the two creatures responsible for creating a huge, tall army in game 1.
and currently, Marcus just taking Kevin's life down slowly.
Interesting here is he attacked with the 2 Flicker Wisps this turn, which means that the freebooter is going to get through. And this is again a situation where like you can still die on the spot.
Well, but he didn't have it last turn.
And now we see why Kevin attacks this turn, because he drew a path to Exile. So now his plan was to just get rid of that. So we see the freebooter attacking with the Exalted Trigger again, just getting path. We'll get a basic here. In his deck, Marcus has access to 1 basic plains and 1 basic forest, going for the plains here. So compared to the 5-color lists that generally just have access to the basic plains, he has a bit more path to Exile resilience.
Yes, now we're back on Kevin's turn. He draws.
And we got a 2-turn clock here in the air for Kevin.
Yes,
It looks
which
pretty
is quite
good
nice.
for him. Yep. Because basically what has to happen here, there's not that many flyers. There's just a Kitesid freebooters in the 4-color decks, no Mantis Riders in that version, so he has to find a freebooter raw path to Exile, or kill Kevin this turn.
Oh, I think we see another buff to Exile in Kevin's hand, so
Yep.
looks really good for Kevin right now on the board. And Marcus has to deal with the situation. So he attacks with Talia.
Because not attacking is not going to do anything.
Nope.
But here I would just be safe. I would just jump with either the Blade Splicer or the Thraben Inspector. Because otherwise, if you don't jump, you got 4 power. Again, a Collected Company hitting 2 Thalia's Lieutenants means you're dead. I would block first before playing the path. But that's all good. Because the block is free, always like blocking in those situations might tempt your opponent to do stupid things.
I think Marcus just threw another land, the forest, and...
As ever since Pilgrim, this is not going to do much.
No,
he's
not really.
dead on board now, and yep, now he's deader on
another
board.
Blade Splicer, end of turn,
Getting
another
2
with the
additional,
golden
yep.
token, and Marcus scoops it up.
So that was game 2. Very, very different from game 1. Let's see how game 3 plays out here.
Yes.
So after having seen 2 of these games, what do you think of the general dynamic of this matchup? Who do you think is favored here and why? What are the important cards? I mean, we saw Thalia doing a lot of work. What else?
Yes, I think in the humans list, Thalia Heretic Hadar and early champion of the parish and Talia's lieutenant are very important to get the game over quite quickly from Marcus' side. And well, I'm not quite sure if Marcus knows about the Dusk Dawn in Kevin's sideboard. But if he has a quick start and Kevin doesn't draw a Dusk Dawn, Kevin is in big trouble. Or what do you say?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that the power level of the 4-card human stack is just a few levels above the Death and Taxes deck. Death and Taxes deck is more consistent. It has the possibility to mana screw Marcus out of the game, but not so much on the draw, I think. On the play, that's a valid plan. The turn 2 Hierarch, turn 2 Arbiter plus Ghost Coder, kill your first land, you're dead. But that doesn't really work on the draw. So no. I would favor Marcus here in this situation because he's on the play.
Me too. But we will see how the game plays out. They both throw their first 7 cards. We will see if they will keep it.
We also haven't seen a single copy of Collected Company being cast yet in this match, so we'll see if that makes an appearance. Another Kitesid freebooter again. It's always to the right in his hand. Both players keep. And we got Cavern of Souls into Champion, which is the best. It's not necessarily the best 1-drop, but any 1-drop is great, and Champion is the one that gets out of hand the quickest, especially if there's more lands to back it up.
So a Frame Inspector with Clue from Kevin's side, and Noble Hierarch putting a counter on the Champion.
And already hitting for 3. Yeah, so this is a Clue token. It looks like the Frame Inspector comes with a counter, which is not a bit of a lazy board set representation of Kevin's side here. but we will be able to work around that. Okay, and Marcus also agrees that this is a bit confusing, helps him out, and gets to represent the clue token more clearly. We got the Ghost Quarter here. Let's see if he got a 2-drop here, or if he just has to resort to cracking the clue.
Ooh, a Sunlets on Noble Hierarch. I think they came in from the sideboard.
Yep, definitely. Sunlands from the sideboard. One of those, like what we were talking about before, about 12 targets, hit one of those. So, yep, was worth it.
I think I can see 2 Flicker Wisp in Kevin's hand, or have you seen it?
I'm not sure, but if he has those 2 Flicker Wisps, that's a nice long-term card advantage plan with Thraben Inspector. The question is if he will get time.
Oh, now we will see it with the Kitesail Freebooter.
So Kitesail Freebooter putting another combo of the thing, and we see 2 Thalias and 2 Flicker Wisps. Not the perfect hand here. That path was nice, but it got taken.
Flicker Wisp would be nice because Flicker Wisp would reduce the clock to 0 currently.
You can also Flicker Wisp the Freebooter and play that path the same turn if you have 4 mana. Or Vile, but he's a bit away of that, but that's a long-term plan. Once you have 4 mana, 3 white, you can flicker out the Freebooter and path another creature, and then once the Freebooter is back, you have no non-creature spell left in your hand, so that's kind of good for you.
I think Kevin is missing the land drop because I just saw a Dusk Dawn from the top, so
Ouch.
the only follow-up is Atalier.
Which also makes that Dusk Dawn cost 5 mana.
Yes, which is problematic, but he can jump with the Atalier at least. Or if no humans follow from Marcus, he can
double block right now, which I would double block here.
Yeah, me too.
Even if you get path, you have to get this. If you get path, it's bad. Otherwise, it's kind of bad. You have the second Thalia, but you need to get that champion off the board right now. Just going to get quicker, and that's what Kevin is going to do. Let's see if Marcus has a response to that.
Okay,
no, just a trade. This is. Considering the situation, I think that's a decent exchange for Kevin.
I think even if I would have had Path to Exile, I wouldn't have played it really.
Because you think the champion is not worth that much? Probably because you have Collected Company in hand, which you're casting in response to this? Yeah. Was. Let's spin the slot machine. Let's see what we're going to hit here. When they played against me, they always hit 2 lieutenants. Let's see what hits here.
Okay. Oh.
Thalia Hereticata and Thalia's Lieutenant, meaning that the Thalia Hereticata will be a 4/3 first strike, bigger than the opposing Thalia, and also the Lieutenant gets a counter, and also the Freebooter gets a counter.
The clock is real.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those humans lists. Thalia's Lieutenant used to be really, really nice in the mono-white human stack and standard. Love that deck. And it's even more brutal in modern because there's just so many good humans out there.
So attack for 2, 5, 9. Kevin is going down to 4.
Yeah, Kevin can't block it. He didn't even attack with his. He can't block with his Thalia. He still doesn't have his third land.
Doesn't look good.
No, really even though because his Thalia, he can jump with his Thalia and play Dusk Dawn 2 turns down the road. He's at 4 now, so I'm not seeing how he's going to survive here.
Oh, Reclamation Sage.
Killing the clue. Even got some value. We got this Amonkhet card hanging out here. No purpose serving anymore.
Still short a mana? Yes, still short. No land drop and tap Leonine Arbiter.
Yep, and the handshake. This is done, unfortunately. Kevin had kind of some of the tools he needed here, but he just never hit his land drop. And that meant it was over very quickly.
Yeah, well, he got completely mana secured and was in jump block mode from the beginning, and Marcus just rolled over him. So
I still think that this matchup is quite favorable for the company deck.
Yes, me too, because company is a big advantage. The human synergies are amazing. Fast, small creatures, interaction with Kitesail Freebooter, got a whole package of synergies and I like just doing good stuff.
I like the 4-color version a lot more in this matchup than the 5-color version, because the 5-color version, if we look at the mana base, it plays those 12 5-color lands. And it also does not play the Everson's Pilgrims. It just plays the Champions and the Hierarchs as 1-drops. So that version is way more susceptible to getting taxed out of the game. by the mana denial plan of Kevin's deck. But it's just not as strong in this matchup here. Like, we never saw any risk in game 1. Yeah, sure, Marcus was stuck on one land. Killing that land would have been great, but in game 2 and in game 3, mana denial plan didn't seem like it even was such an exciting option. Here we see how the player sideboarded. We see that from Kevin's side, we had the Duskdawns and the Sunlances come in. And from Kevin's side, we had the Meddling Mages and Rex Sage come in.
Yes.
So that was kind of similar to what we thought it would happen before.
Well, I think this was a nice match to watch.
Yeah, let's see what happens later in the next rounds. We'll be back soon with more modern content from Magic Corner Vienna.
See you later.